Alright, what's up guys? It's CHARLESTOPHER here. I'm actually back from a very long break. My roommates have seemed to motivate me to make some YouTube videos recently. So they gave me the genius idea of talking about the different fights I've been in my life, and most of them were pretty sure all of them were before high school. So I mean, you're probably gonna hear some pretty stupid fights. And you know, that's okay. That's the point of talking about them. They're stupid. So now today I can look back at them and laugh at them, and that's what I think's pretty cool about them. So start off, my first fight that I'm gonna talk about, it was actually, I don't know what grade it was in middle school, but it was a really dumb fight. It was me and so at middle school we were on this playground that I would hang out at like every day. And there was this kid. We just got into some stupid argument about, I don't even know what it was about. We were talking about like how much each other's parents made, or something along the lines of that. And it was just like, it was dumb. And I thought I was cool because I had like the first generation iPod Touch, and I mean, so by this time, I think the third generation iPod Touch was out, but you know, I was poor, so I went for the first generation because I thought it was still pretty cool at the time. So we got into this dumb argument about how much each other's parents made, and finally I said something like, "Oh, you're just jealous that you don't have an iPod," or something along the lines of his parents being poor, and it just like, it pissed him off because I was just being rude, I guess, and he went to throw a punch at me, and I didn't even let him hit me. I grabbed his hand and then pushed him down into the bark, and it made him cry, I guess, maybe from embarrassment or something. And then he ended up going to the office, and I got suspended for like 1 day because of that, because I didn't even hurt him. He wasn't bruised or anything. He just got pushed down into the bark, and that was considered a fight by my principal at the time. I thought it was pretty dumb, but it happened, and you know, things happen. So I got suspended for that, and yeah, so that's it for that fight. The next fight was, let's see, if I remember, this one was about this kid taking my bike, and it was actually egged on by my cousin, because for some reason he was like, "Hey man, you should steal his bike, or joke around about it or something." But at this point in time, I was still in middle school. It was another middle school fight, and I was serious about my bike, man. That was my way of getting around town. It would be like the same thing as stealing a high schooler's car or a college student's car. You know, you don't mess around with that. It's not like, "Oh, I stole your car." So, you know, he took off on my bike. You know, took my cousin's word, and me being, you know, I needed a bike, so I thought he was stealing it, so I chased him down the road. I had like socks on, or I was barefoot, chased him all the way down my road, but he took off, and then like 5 or 10 minutes later he comes back, and I don't know why you try and pretend to steal someone's bike and then come back to their house, but he came back to my house for some reason. And then, out of nowhere, he decided to just chill on my porch, you know? Just sat down on my porch and decided to, I don't know, he thought he was still cool with me or something. And he was my friend at the time, but after, you know, that whole bike incident, we were not friends at all after that. So, you know, the reason, because, you know, we got a pretty nasty fight, because I kept telling him to leave, and I told him at least like 3 or 4 times, and then at some point, you know, I just got irritated. I didn't want to get in a fight. I tried to tell him to leave multiple times. He wouldn't leave, so I walked up to him, and I was like, I got pretty close to him, and then eventually, at some point, he got up, and I was like infuriated because, you know, he almost stole my bike, and that was serious to me. So I pushed him down into the grass, and I don't know if he was unexpected of it or something, but I was just infuriated. So I jumped on top of him, and I just started hitting him in the head. And you know, now that I look back at it, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure I didn't hurt him that much, but I was hitting him pretty hard in the head. I didn't give him a concussion or anything, as you know, I was just a middle schooler. It wasn't like I could actually hurt him that bad. I was pretty small. I didn't work out or anything. I didn't have any big muscles. But it was funny because now that I look back at it, I was on top of him, hitting him in the head, and my neighbors were basically just saying, "Yeah, Chris, you know, keep going, hit him," and they, you know, most people will be like, "Oh, you know, we should probably pull him off before something happens," but my neighbors were egging me on, and just like, and so I just kept going, and then at some point during this time, my aunt comes out and she yells really loud. She's like, "What are you guys doing?" And then I jumped off really fast because I don't want to get in trouble for fighting or something. And I'm pretty sure he just took off after that because he didn't want to get in trouble. So he just like ran home. And then like the next day at school, tried talking to me, and I was like, "Bro, we're not cool, so shouldn't talk to me because I wasn't cool with what you did." But after that, you know, I never talked to him again, and he didn't even try keeping in contact with me. I don't know if he was, you know, scared of me or what, but I didn't worry about it. The next fight, actually, another middle school fight. This one, we were in the gym. We were doing PE, and we were actually playing knockout in basketball. So, you know, everybody's moving around, everybody's excited and jumping around. And this kid like stepped on my shoes, and I guess at the time, I had like brand new shoes or something. So I was like, "Bro, don't step on my shoes." And you know, I don't know what happened, but we started like pushing each other, and we pushed each other back and forth like 3 or 4 times, and then finally he swung a punch at me, and you know, it wasn't a powerful punch or anything. It didn't hurt me, but it pissed me off enough, so I grabbed him by the throat and I pushed him over towards these benches, because we're in the gym, so we had benches along the side of the gym, and you know, they were a pretty good distance away. But I pushed him over towards the benches, and I like picked him up by the throat and slammed him down into the benches. And it was crazy because there was a sub in there, and he didn't even notice for a while. So I was like choking him out in the benches, and he was like swinging punches at me, but my arms were longer than his, so most of the hits were like barely nicking me or not even hitting me at all. And so he wasn't really hurting me. I was probably doing more damage to him. But so I had him pinned down in the benches, and he was all bent in a way that, you know, he couldn't get out of it. There was no way of him getting out of it because he had all my like weight pushing down on him. And then finally, the substitute turns around from watching the knockout game and decides to look back over at me and him, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And then, you know, that's the point where I jumped up because I didn't want to get in trouble. So I like jumped off of him and stopped choking him out. And the sub was like, "What are you guys doing?" So, and then I was like, "Oh, nothing." And then like everyone in the class was like, they had like a little chuckle because they were watching, and it was. I didn't get in trouble for that, and neither did the other kid. So it was kind of crazy. I don't think either of us. I mean, I know I didn't get hurt. I don't know if I hurt him. But the funny part about that was that everybody said he won the fight, and I was just dumbfounded by that because I don't understand how they would say that, because I was the one choking him out in the benches and he was the one that couldn't move. So, you know, I guess I kind of won that fight, but people wanted to say that I didn't win, and they said he got the most hits in, and I was like, you know, that's not how a fight works, right? Like, the person who wins the fight is the person who's standing up still, or, you know, the person who didn't, you know, I don't know how that even works, how they had the guts to say that. I guess it was maybe because they were friends with him, and I wasn't friends with the people that were saying that, so they were more in his favor. They were biased towards him, I guess, and it was weird. Dumb middle school fights, you know. I got in a fight over my dumb shoes, and then another fight over telling someone that their parents didn't have that much money, and it was just, you know, dumb fights. And then, like, this one wasn't really a fight, but there's another time where we had like a 4th of July party, and my mom had like she had a friend come over, and her friend had a couple daughters, and her daughters, my sister was playing with her daughters, but then her daughters got a little rough with my sister, and I wasn't okay with that. So, you know, I was really young at this point in time too. I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 10, maybe 11. I'm not sure. I'm not really for sure about it, but I just remember because she got rough with my sister, and I've always been really protective of my sister. So I pushed her up against the wall, and I was like, don't mess with my sister. I'm serious about this. You don't touch my sister like that. And then, you know, I think I scared the death out of her because she was quiet for the rest of the night, and she didn't say a word after that. So, you know, she didn't mess with my sister anymore. And, you know, for me, that's all the fights I can really remember that were serious to me. And none of them have really played a big role in my life today because I don't get in fights, and I haven't since. That's it for today's video, guys. You tell me about one of your fights that you've had in the comments that has been crazy or maybe dumb, you know, and I'll read them and see what you guys got.